What's up, Internet? This is the Too Long Didn't Read for my new book, Uncertainty: How the Latest Science and Technology Confirm the Bible is True. This story is called The Voxels of Reality. So to completely honor Rene Descartes' scientific method, we need to break our uncertainty down into the smallest possible units. So that means we need to understand what happens inside a quantum voxel of reality. If you skip the last story, a voxel is just like a pixel, except for it's a cube instead of a square. Now, it's just way too complicated for me to explain, so I've included a video from Arvin Ash. We'll explain the standard model from quantum field theory. And there's also a 90-minute lecture from Neil Turok called The Astonishing Simplicity of Everything, which is astonishingly simple. One important takeaway from those videos is just how small the pixels of reality really are. They are the Planck length, which is technically the minimum distance in a universe. So if you imagine one of your skin cells, which is tinier than one of your arm hairs, that skin cell compared to the entire observable universe is exactly how big the Planck length is compared to that exact same skin cell. So reflexively, there is exactly one universe inside every single cell of your body. Inside each one of these pixels of reality, they work sort of like the pixels in a television set. But instead of 3 different elements, red, green, and blue, like we have in a television set, there are 17 elements that mix and match to combine to create all the forces and molecules and particles that we have in our universe. The quantum information that is auto-calculating inside each pixel of reality is called energy. The concept of energy was first mentioned by Aristotle in the 4th century BC. 2,000 years later, Gottfried Leibniz proposed the idea of vis viva, which is Latin for living force. Leibniz believed total vis viva was conserved and could be calculated by the product of an object's mass times its velocity squared. So E equals mv squared. That's not a bad guess for 200 years before Einstein. Leibniz was only off by the speed of light. Later, a British mathematician who was instrumental in deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs was the first to use the word energy to replace vis viva. Energy comes from the Greek word meaning activity or operation. See where I'm going here? A few decades later, Lord Kelvin defined the laws of thermodynamics, which cemented the word energy into science forever. So energy is auto-calculating quantum information. At philosophers, if energy is simply the quantum calculations of some kind of quantum mechanical server that we can't understand, then it drastically alters what I consider possible in our universe. Whatever is possible in our kids' video games should be equally possible in our world too. In fact, we should assume that the God mode, quote unquote, of any simulation can't be more advanced than the God mode of the parent simulation that produced it. Walk on water, throw mountains into the sea, spawn fantastical creatures, fly through the air, those are just player permissions. The reason the Netflix show Black Mirror is so trippy is their use of computer simulations. If you live in a computer simulation, you can't even prove that yesterday existed. It probably did, but you can't prove that everyone on Earth didn't begin this version of the simulation in the exact quantum configuration from 10 minutes ago. How do you know that all your memories before today weren't downloaded into your neural network before you booted up this morning? If we do live in the Matrix and energy is simply quantum information, then we should be able to estimate just how much total information is in the universe. And if that sounds crazy to you, it wasn't to this guy named Melvin Bobson. In 2019, Melvin Bobson published a groundbreaking research paper titled The Mass Energy Information Equivalence Principle that combines Einstein's theories of mass and energy with information theory by Claude Shannon to calculate the total information in the universe. If you've never heard of information theory by Claude Shannon, it was published in 1948 in a scientific paper called A Mathematical Theory of Communication for Bell Labs. Claude Shannon is the person who taught us all the word bit. What most people don't realize is that a bit is the fundamental unit of uncertainty. A bit is the least amount of information that you can possibly know. It's either yes or no, true or false, 1 or 0. In his mass energy equivalence paper, Melvin Bobson formally proposes that information is the first state of matter, then solid, then liquid, gas, or plasma. Isn't that how the Matrix works? Just kidding. Bobson is way smarter than me. I don't understand all the math in his paper, so here's the best explanation I found for his work. You'll find the link in the description. So, using a lot of complex math and a few assumptions, he's determined that every elementary particle in the universe has the equivalent of 1.509 bits of encoded information. This is only possible because information theory states that information is physical and all physical systems register information. That's complicated, but Voxels then used the temperature of all the baryonic matter in the universe, including galaxies, black hole radiation, and interstellar mediums, to estimate that our universe could be represented by 7.5 times 10 with 59 zeros zettabytes of information. That number looks like this. For comparison, the world's population, the entire Earth only produced 64.2 zettabytes of data in all of 2020. If the universe is hosted by some kind of quantum mechanical server, its informational capacity is beyond our comprehension. At Scientists, here marks the end of the explainable universe for Western science. There are no more pieces of reality smaller than the information within quantum voxels. Here ends the age of reason. To continue reading, we go beyond the age of reason. In that story, we will explore scientific evidence for everything beyond the age of reason. There are plenty of books and videos on aliens, giants, telepathy, remote viewing, clairvoyance, advanced prehistoric civilizations, anti-gravity devices, and visiting other dimensions during near-death experiences. You're not going to want to miss that one. At Christians, we really need your support. Fundamental Frequency is a 501c3 nonprofit ministry dedicated to spreading the good news of Jesus to academics, scholars, and scientists because they have a tremendous influence on all our worldviews. Their opinions directly influence our children's education, the media, national policy, and budgets for future scientific research. So please consider investing some of your tithe this year into our mission of eradicating the false doctrine of Darwinian evolution. You can use this QR code to donate in one click. All your gifts are tax deductible. You can also help us by sharing this story with your friends on TikTok, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, WeChat, Weibo, and Qzone. See you next time.